Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning into this update. I'm Joshua Dobi. Appreciate you taking a few minutes of your time to sit with us here and to take a look at where things are right now. We're doing these with a little bit more frequency, just as we're getting some more negative volatility in the markets, and certainly with the movements we've had over this past week, and especially today, as of the time of this recording, we want to get our thoughts out to you again. As I just mentioned here a few seconds ago, we had some significant movement in our economic universe today when the Federal Reserve increased the overnight lending rate again by 75 basis points. Literally never in our history has the Federal Reserve increased interest rates so fast, so much, so quickly. So it's a pretty unique kind of experience in terms of looking at where things are. But what we can see is we can see where things are starting to materialize in our economy, which are the direct effects of increasing interest rates. And you've heard me talk about this quite a bit before. We're starting to see an uptick in mortgages in terms of mortgage rates. Right now, the 30-year fixed mortgage is close to 6.5% right now, which is about double what it was a year ago, starting to cool off the residential housing market. We're seeing upticks in auto loan rates. So if you're taking out a loan to buy a car, we're seeing that as well. Also seeing upticks in credit card rates. If you're carrying a balance on your credit card, we're starting to see those rates that they're charging against those balances starting to increase as well. All of this is very predictable, but it's also creating a lot of turmoil in the stock market as well, specifically the stock and the bond markets as well, because we just haven't been in this kind of space where rates have increased, as I mentioned, so much so quickly at any time in our history. We can look back to the late 1970s, early 1980s for times when rates were significantly higher than where they are right now. But there are a lot of other factors that just aren't the same as where we sit today. I'm not saying that this is completely unique. I'm just saying that this rate of increase as far as interest rates are concerned is unprecedented in terms of how the Federal Reserve itself has moved. In terms of where the market is, though, this is something that we've experienced before. Certainly, with regards to other tumultuous economic times, we've seen this kind of thing before. And predictability somewhat is in there, meaning that in terms of market behavior, when there is uncertainty in the system, we can't predict what's going to happen, obviously, in day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month kinds of things. But in terms of the reactions in the market, this is actually, I know this may seem a little bit counterintuitive, a very orderly kind of pullback. I know it's not pleasant to look at your statements whenever the balances have decreased in many ways, the ways in which they have this year. However, this kind of movement market-wise, when we're looking at how things are moving and the directions that they're moving, as far as my universe is concerned, is fairly orderly. There aren't structural issues in our economy. We have some significant headwinds through which we need to work through, but this is not something that is a permanent kind of condition. This is a rocky and somewhat volatile season, which definitely has a terminus in it. Now, I know the immediate kind of thought which may come into your head, which would come into mine, kind of thing, okay, if it has a terminus, if it has an ending associated with it, when's that going to be? Well, that's the tough part. But at least at this point, what we see on our end of things is it's going to take us a little while to get through this. I'd love to say that it's going to V right out and 3 months from now that things are going to be back to the ways that they were a year ago. It doesn't look that way at this point. I expect that it's going to take us into 2023, perhaps the first and second quarters of 2023, for us to get some more solid footing, if you will, with regards to our overall bond and stock market. So we've still got some runway ahead of us in terms of getting through this time. I don't want to make it unnaturally rosy for you. I also don't want to look at it unnaturally negatively either. And that's why I'm framing it up in this way as I'm bringing this update to you, saying we have absolutely been here before. As a matter of fact, we've been in much uglier times than this, not only in terms of performance, but in terms of the reasons that markets pull back. This is, again, I hate to use the word, but it absolutely applies. This is fairly predictable. In terms of the raising of interest rates, we see the rises in terms of the bond yields and CD rates and mortgage rates and other kinds of debt instruments out there. All of that is completely predictable in this kind of environment. So it's not something which is unprecedented in terms of the movement. The scope of the movement in the time frame in which it's moving is some unprecedented, but certainly not this kind of space right here. So when we're looking at this kind of thing, and we're enduring this time right along with you, looking at it, we also know that, again, based upon our experience and history, there's a terminus to this. So there absolutely is an end game involved where things begin to settle out and the quote new normal, if you will, begins to take hold and take shape. And with an underlying economy which has significant strength like this one has, we expect that there's going to be an opportunity to rebound. Now, again, don't expect all of this to happen all at once, or don't expect that there's going to be some kind of magical easy button out there for us to do that. We've got a lot of headwinds through which we need to work. But this also is, in our world, a definable kind of space where we know that there's going to be a time in which we're going to be able to cycle out. Well, this is going to be a relatively brief update. I wanted to take advantage of the fact that the Federal Reserve made their movement today, and because I'm doing this with greater frequency, I want to keep this one relatively short. But as you know, at any time, if you would like to reach out to us to chat about your particular situation, perhaps to talk about the markets overall, I am always available, always happy to do that, set up a call, set up a meeting with you, either Zoom or in person to be able to do that. I always enjoy those kind of things and certainly would be happy to speak with you regarding that. Also, if you're a football fan, it's football season. In many parts of the country, things are beginning to cool off into the season of fall as far as the temperatures are concerned. And I'm a big football fan, so I enjoy a lot this time of the year. It's fun to see the games come back on for the pros and the college end of things. I hope your favorite team is starting out doing well. Well, friends, again, it has been a pleasure to be with you, even in this short jaunt here of an update. Anytime, always feel free to reach out to us. And until the next time, I'll look forward to talking with you soon.